Who in here has already read Pride and Prejudice? And what did you think of it on the first read?
So it's finally official. After Next Generation is happening. Fans had been speculating for months, maybe even years, about whether the franchise would truly be done after everything wrapped in 2023. But now we know that this isn't the end. The announcement actually came through the documentary Beyond After, which takes a deep dive into how the films were made and the cultural impact they had.
And the love of your life, Kimberly's carrying your fucking child while you're here.
That's enough,
What the
Hardin.
fuck is wrong with you?
Vince?
Yeah.
And right at the end of that documentary, fans got the confirmation they'd been waiting for. There's more story to tell, and After Next Generation is set to arrive in 2025. That little flash forward at the end of After Everything, the one where we see Hardin and Tessa married with kids, wasn't just a touching finale, it was the setup for a whole new chapter. Producer Brian Pitt confirmed in Beyond After that Next Generation is one of several projects being developed. He mentioned a before story exploring earlier years and even a Landon spin-off based on Anna Todd's Nothing More and Nothing Less. But Next Generation is clearly the flagship idea moving forward. Pitt described it as a story where the kids try to find their own paths while avoiding the pitfalls that nearly consumed their parents. Writer-director Castile Landon added that the movie would be about carrying the sins of the parents and trying to break free from them. That's pretty heavy, but it's exactly the kind of emotional hook that After films thrive on. And here's where things get really interesting. It's still not confirmed whether After Next Generation will be a standalone movie or a full series. Deadline originally reported that it was going to be a film, and that still seems like the plan. But because producers are openly talking about multiple projects, it's not impossible that this could evolve into something bigger. A film could launch the characters, and then a series could expand their stories over time. Or the team could commit to a 6-movie arc that follows Emery, Auden, and Addie through different stages of life. So there are a bunch of possibilities here. Now the big twist is that this new installment won't focus on Hardin and Tessa as the central characters. Instead, the spotlight shifts to their children, Emery and Auden, along with their cousin Addie. It's a clever move because it both honors the legacy of the original story and breathes new life into the franchise.
Love is just a transaction. We're all hardwired to desire. We present the correct set of desirable traits, and boom. We can turn it on.
Hardin and Tessa are still part of the picture, but this time as parents, which changes the dynamic completely. The romance that defined them might take a backseat, but their influence will still hang over everything their kids experience. And honestly, that's a pretty natural progression, because when you think about it, the After series has always been about complicated relationships, the scars they leave, and whether people can grow beyond their mistakes. Handing that theme down to the next generation makes a lot of sense. Now, casting is going to make or break this next phase. Fans are already speculating about who could step into these roles because it's clear Josephine Langford and Hero Fine Stiffen aren't returning as Tessa and Hardin. Hero has said never say never, but he's also admitted he'll eventually have to step back and let someone else take over. Josephine hasn't made a public announcement, but the general feeling is that their part of the story is over, at least in terms of leading roles. So the kids are where the focus has to be. For Emery, who many see as the oldest and perhaps the one with the strongest connection to both parents, casting someone with emotional depth will be crucial. McKenna Grace feels like a strong contender because she's already shown in projects like Gifted and The Handmaid's Tale that she can balance vulnerability with resilience. She could easily carry the emotional weight of being Hardin and Tessa's daughter. Another possible choice could be Sadie Sink. Since her time on Stranger Things, she's proven she can embody characters who feel caught between expectation and independence, which lines up with Emery's likely journey. Auden, on the other hand, might need a softer, more introspective actor. Another name that comes up a lot is Wyatt Oleff, known for It, and I'm not okay with this because he has that blend of awkwardness and charm that could really work for Auden. And then there's Addie the cousin. She's probably going to be the wild card character, someone who adds both tension and fun to the mix. Jenna Ortega would be a powerhouse pick here. She's shown in Wednesday and The Fallout that she can handle darker, layered roles while still being relatable and magnetic. Another option might be Sophie Thatcher, who's been incredible in Yellow Jackets. She could bring a raw, edgy energy that contrasts nicely with Emery and Dodden. Now, even though the story shifts to the kids, the shadow of Hardin and Tessa looms large. And that's part of what makes this so compelling, because imagine being Emery or Auden and growing up with parents whose love story is infamous. Messy, dramatic, but ultimately enduring.
Where's Mum's amends?
No,
Mum, have you got your amends yet?
What would you like me to do? You don't think that I am consumed by guilt? I knew that night that I had to go.
No! After that night, you had to stay!
Do you admire that as proof that love conquers all, or do you resent it because of all the heartbreak it caused along the way? That question alone could fuel entire movies or seasons of a series. It's a theme that doesn't just continue the franchise, but evolves it. And if producers really want to stretch this out, there's room for a long-term saga. The kids' high school years could be one film, their college experiences another, and then maybe early adulthood in a third. Each phase could explore different challenges: first love, betrayal, identity struggles, or even career ambitions, while tying back to the idea of not repeating their parents' mistakes. If the series route is chosen, it could dive even deeper into friendships, rivalries, and day-to-day struggles, giving fans more time to connect with each character. What makes this exciting is that it doesn't feel like a forced continuation. After Everything gave fans closure with Hardin and Tessa, but it also planted the seed for this next step. That flash forward wasn't just a sweet ending, it was an intentional setup. And producers like Mark Canton have made it clear they see the After universe as expansive. Canton has said multiple times that there's a long way to go, and now we're seeing what he meant. From a fan perspective, it's easy to see why this makes sense. The After movies were never just about romance, they were about growth, pain, mistakes, and second chances. Passing that theme onto a new generation feels authentic. It also gives the franchise a way to stay relevant for years to come because it shifts the perspective to younger characters who might resonate more with today's audiences. And let's be honest, if casting goes right, Emery, Auden, and Addie could become just as iconic as Tessa and Hardin were. So while there are still unanswered questions, like whether this will be a movie or series, or whether Langford and Tiffin will cameo, the fact remains: After isn't over. Instead, it's evolving, and that evolution could turn into something much bigger than anyone expected, maybe even a 6-film saga or a multi-season show. It all depends on how producers handle it and which actors step into these crucial next-generation roles. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay in the loop, and if you want, you can share your thoughts about this video in the comments.